And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma.
All right, everybody, welcome to Head to Head. I am your host, Brian Parker. Oh man, today is August the 13th, 2020. Good news, our Roku channel is up and running. You can see it now if you have Roku or the Roku app or Roku TV. It is the Empower Network. If you don't have that on your Roku, just make sure that you update your channels. It will upload Roku to it, and then make sure you add it as your favorite app, because it will be your favorite app. Trust me. Anyway, we're also online at parkermediacompany.com. So if you do not have Roku just yet, you can still watch all of our programs online. You can do it on your phone, on your tablet, on your laptop. If you're 45 or older, you'll know what a laptop is. You're a young kid, this is your laptop, I get it.
Right.
Anyways, and then if you have any questions, comments, input for us, hit us up on our Facebook page. We're on Instagram at Empower_TV, or simply email at theparkermedia@gmail.com. Like I said, real excited. We're getting more and more artists every day. Signing up. We've got a couple of podcasts that we're going to have. We've got a couple of worship services that we're going to have, talk shows, music reviews, music videos, short films, feature films, web series. We're going to try to bring it all to you. Make sure that all these talented people that we're running into are able to use this platform to get their name out there and hopefully get some fans out of you. All right. So with that said, we're going to jump into our conversation for the day. I've got a panel with me, so it won't just be me talking, even though y'all know I can talk for hours. First of all, I got to go with this lady first because, well, she married me. Say hello, Lori.
Hey, everybody.
And Lori, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do, though?
Well, my name is Lori Parker, and I am married to Mr. Brian Parker, and I currently work as an assistant for a engineering and consulting firm. And I also do I also will help with Empower TV channel and also with Parker Media Company as well.
All right. Hey, that's an extra check I don't have to cut. Thank you very much, Lori.
It gets cut in other ways, so no worries.
God bless you, Lori. God bless you.
Looks like we'll be posting an ad on Indeed after this. Coming up next, Miss Kawana Jackson.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, thanks for joining us today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thanks for having me. My name is Kawana Jackson. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I'm an artist. So you can check me out with all of my singer, songwriter, MC stuff at Kawana Jackson on all social media. But I'm also an educator and quality assurance lead for early educators in Region 2 in North Carolina. So I mentor and evaluate educators, as well as help run the quality assurance in our department for North Carolina.
Awesome. Awesome. You do anything else?
What else do I do? Gosh, I do a lot of stuff. I do a lot of stuff. Let's see, educator, 15 plus years. I lead workshops. I create professional development. I'm a singer, songwriter, MC. I rap, I dance. do a little choreography. I have some videos out there. I do modeling, acting. So yeah, I'm a creative soul.
There you go. There
Wow.
you go. Yeah, I didn't, I know I've heard the singing and the rapping, and I certainly didn't want to put you in a box and call you one or the other because you do so many different things. So I'm glad you were able to expound on that.
Thank you.
Last but not least, we have Mr. Brad Compton. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Brian. Thank you for having me. Congratulations on the channel. We wish you the best of luck. You and Lori, we love you to death. I don't do anything compared to what Kawana does. So, compared to her, I do absolutely nothing.
Oh,
I've been a social worker for the past, I think I've been in the field for the past 31 years now. And I've worked with street homeless people. I've worked with people with AIDS. I've worked with HIV prevention. And now my current role, I'm working with adults on Rikers Island, people who are incarcerated, making sure that they make their next move their best move. So we do a lot of counseling with the folks who are incarcerated at Rikers, trying to get them home to their families. So outside of that, I don't do a whole lot. I mean, I'm a coach. I coach baseball, basketball, soccer. That's really it. I do the dad thing, and that's about it.
Hey, that's a lot, my man. That's a lot. And I don't think I'd always go into my background, but my background has always been hospitality. I've been in the hotel industry for the last 28 years. So all of my background is really in hotel, motel management, now revenue management, anything associated with hotels and filling beds and making a lot of money for hotel companies. That's kind of been my my thing. Now I've branched out into acting. So I've also been acting for the last 4 years. Have actually joined the union. So I'm a SAG actor as well. And now I've embarked on the Empowered TV network. So yeah, I don't do a lot either compared to Kawana. Just tried to.
Oh my God! Y'all stop, please.
Anyway, y'all, I've been wanting to get on. My blood has been boiling all day. Started boiling yesterday, and I know we've all heard by now that Joe Biden has picked his VP pick, and normally, most of the time, that's a snoozer. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, it'll get a little bit of attention the first couple of days, and then it kind of goes away. Nobody really thinks about the VP. They always think about the president. And that probably was the case when Obama ran and picked Biden. Some people were like, who? But they were fixated on Obama,
Right.
Even when it was Trump, people were fixated on Trump, not necessarily Mike Pence. Or nobody was fixated on Dan Quayle or Al Gore. The VP is kind of that person that's there, but not really heard from a lot. And that's starting to change. Kind of like the first lady wasn't somebody that was heard from a lot. When you think of Barbara Bush and Laura Bush, and then you started seeing Hillary Clinton and Michelle Obama and started going, wow, okay. So they're redefining the roles. But what's kind of been getting my blood boiling a little bit is Kamala Harris gets announced as the VP pick, and expectedly, you started hearing a lot of misogynistic things. You started hearing a lot of things about her past. You started hearing things about she ain't black enough. You started hearing all these other things. Like I said, those things were really expected. One thing that I was hoping it wouldn't be expected was it was coming from black people. What the hell? What's wrong with us, y'all?
Yeah.
I don't get this. We talk about so much about being underserved, not getting opportunities, not getting representation, and everything else. And then when one of us finally get a little something, everybody try to poke holes in you. Somebody, why? Why we do this to ourselves?
Well, I just want to start by saying, and I think Malcolm X made this quote about the Black woman is the most disrespected, underserved, underprotected people group in America. You know, Malcolm X said that. And I don't know whether this has anything to do with it, but we're certainly seeing it. We're certainly seeing that, you know, and it's coming from our group, our people group, which is sad. But part of me isn't surprised, just knowing that quote, or that it was said from Malcolm X a while back. And I think Black women do kind of get the brunt end of a lot of things that we see in society. We're not represented well, we're not protected very well. And I don't think we're respected as much as, say, a Black male that may have possibly been picked.
Yeah.
We were so enamored and we loved Obama. You know, most of the flack that Obama was getting was from white America.
Mm-hmm.
Black America loved him, and we embraced him so much. So it's just really interesting to see that we're not feeling the same way about Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I mean, Obama is biracial, and you know, for the most part, you didn't hear people talking about, you know, is he Black enough and stuff like that. Now, Kamala, and she said it, my parents came from two different sides of the world. My mom was from East Indian, dad's Jamaican. You know, how does that not make her Black? Her dad is Jamaican. Are Jamaicans not Black?
Well, you know what? I've heard the conversation that, not that she's not Black, but she's not African American. She's not an American descendant of slaves, that ADOS term that a lot of folks are using lately. So, but I think she does fit under the umbrella of African American. I mean, her father was of African descent, and she's born and raised in America. So to me, that's an African American.
That's the definition, isn't it?
You know, we can get down into the weeds and we can pull each one of us out and go back into our histories, but I think it's useless. I mean, the fact is she's here, and you know what? She wasn't my first choice for VP, but he made the choice based on a set of criteria, and I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. But you know, just to be fair, Black folks we're not a monolith. We're not all supposed to think the same. We're not always gonna walk in lockstep with each other. I get that. But I think we all need to be unified around this ticket. I mean, this is the first step in a series of steps of getting rid of Donald Trump. On day one, we're gonna start that campaign to get rid of Donald Trump the day after the election. # Wednesday. Get him out of office Wednesday. We don't need to wait to January 20th. We've seen enough. You can have your stuff ready. So by November 4th, you can start moving out. So, but I mean, I love Kamala. I think she's sharp as hell. I think she is going to be a problem for Mike Pence in that debate. She will be. She's tenacious. She's sharp. She's going to be fire. She's fire.
I agree. What do you think, Lori?
Well, I appreciated and I admired Kamala Harris when she was even running for when she was running for president. Now that she has now been chosen by Joe Biden, we all need to get in under that umbrella. What annoys me a lot when I see Black people or just people in general claiming to be the victim. Oh, she's prosecuted too many people. Oh, she's done this. Well, number one, that was her job. That's her job function. She was a prosecutor. I cannot speak to other people who are who say that, you know, she was prosecuting too many people. That was her job. No one told you, as of another person, to go out and rob a bank or to commit a felony. You made that choice. But we have to be able to allow that ticket to come to fruition, because the main thing is, and what we all need to sit there and to focus on, she may have not been everyone's first choice or by some people supporting Bernie, but at the end of the day, we need to be able to get and support this ticket because number one, our country is being dismantled and our democracy is being dismantled. We need to move away from crazy Donald Trump, who is an embarrassment to everyone, include as Americans, into the world, and get under this ticket. Everyone sitting here saying that they don't like Kamala Harris is ridiculous and hypocrisy.
Right.
You know, Lori, the only problem I have with anything you said is that it looks like you're auditioning to be the host, and it's not going to happen.
I cannot be the host because you are the star.
Okay.
I'm just exercising my opinion.
I'm glad that was written into your contract.
Can we let the fans? Can we let the audience decide, please?
Don't bring her back no more, y'all. Don't bring her back.
That's okay, because I'm gonna still stay because I know where you live. Remember that.
Oh yeah, good, touche.
Remember, I cook your food.
Ooh.
Now I gotta hire a taste tester. So anyway, all of you guys, you're absolutely right. You know, Kamala wasn't. Well, I'm not gonna say she wasn't my number one pick. I mean, my pick is anybody other than Donald Trump and Mike Pence. But it just blows my mind, though, that, you know, our Democratic Party is very vast, and Brad is right. We are not a monolith by any means. We all have varying ideas. You know, I consider myself conservative in some ways because there's some things I'm very conservative about. I'm progressive in some things, I'm liberal in other things. I can be all of those things at the same time. All three things can be true at the same time, depending on what the issue is.
Right.
So, I mean, I may be a little bit tighter on fiscal spending. Yeah, I don't want to run up the debt needlessly and things like that, but I also believe in social safety nets and things like that. But I'm not necessarily against you proving that you really need it, because some people's going around, I go to the store, and they sitting there with the EBT card buying up stuff better than I'm getting, and they look way healthier than I do. Sometimes that does mess with me. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I just don't go to them extremes like, well, you just take it away from everybody and, you know, let the churches and the community, you know, help them and let them pull themselves up by the bootstraps and they don't have no boots and all that kind of craziness. I don't go that far. But at the end of the day, we need to accept the fact that no one is perfect. You know, Joe Biden was there when the crime bill came up, and people always talk about the crime bill and how that disproportionately affected African Americans and people of color. The thing that I keep stressing, and I said it on my last broadcast yesterday, and probably even the day before, is that why is it that we think politicians can be everything that we can't be? Why do we think that they're going to be perfect? Why do we think they're always going to be honest? People by nature are not going to always be that way. Our job as constituents is to hold them accountable.
Right.
That's our job. So even though Joe might not be the best, he don't always get his words out right. He's very inarticulate. He means well. I know he does. But sometimes what is up in here don't come out his mouth.
He's a lot like Donald Trump in some ways.
He is.
Yes.
Like Donald Trump.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
But the difference between Joe and Trump is that when somebody grab a hold of Joe and say, Joe, when you said that Latinos, unlike African Americans, are a very diverse group, we know what you meant, but don't say that again, dog. You didn't even bring us up to make your point.
Right.
He at least listened. And he came back out and said, I apologize. I do not believe you guys are a monolith. I do not take you for granted. I'll fight for you. He said all the necessary things. Whether he believe it or not, I don't know that man's heart. But he at least can take feedback, come back out and say, I misspoke. I made a mistake. You got a man in the White House right now that said he ain't never had to ask God for forgiveness. He said,
I actually had this conversation with my mother this morning, and we were talking about Joe Biden and with Kamala Harris being his VP choice. And I was when I was talking to my mother about this, and I actually said to her, and I said, you know, I'm really happy that he chose her because of her strength of what she has. Now we were talking about, and this is just, let me just throw this out here, because I actually said, I don't know if he's going to last all 4 years, but if he didn't, at least we have someone as the VP that can take over and can take charge. She
Right.
actually is familiar with as being a member of Congress, and that
Right.
she's familiar with the law and being a
Right.
prosecutor. So she
Right.
knows the law. She doesn't make up things just as the orange buffoon does.
Right. She's at
And you
least
know what? Just like Barack Obama, I think Biden and her, I think they're going to surround themselves with competent people, the best
right.
from a series of people, whether they're left or right. So even when you don't know it all, and as leaders, you don't always have all the answers, but the people around you can come up to you with some great suggestions. I think that's where Donald Trump fails. Is
Right.
he said over and over again, "I alone can fix it." I mean, you know, what I don't know what fantasy he lives in, but that's not the way the world works. So I think they're going to be surrounded by competent people who can help them get us to where we need to be.
Right.
Stop
And
the bleeding. Right. Sorry. Go.
And I do believe people change, you know, like in the past, you know, Biden, I believe, had some issues with integration back in the day. But
Yes, he did.
I believe that, you know, his time with Obama, he loved Obama. You could see that their relationship, he respected that man. And people change over the years. Even with Kamala Harris, people are digging up things about when she was DA and, you know, when she was a prosecutor. And, you know, they may not agree with those things, but I do give people the benefit of the doubt that over the years, people learn, they change, they grow. And at the end of the day, who wants another 4 years of what we have now?
Right.
You know, at least we know that these people are competent. You know, they at least know about the law, such as what Lori and Brad were saying. This person in office now, I mean, he's talking about using disinfectant to help kill the coronavirus. I mean, and you know, I mean, really, I mean, people are. I mean, we at least need people that are knowledgeable, and if they're not, they have people, like Brad said, around them that will help them make major decisions. I think that right now we have to kind of err on the side of competency, you know, at the very least, you know.
And
absolutely.
One more thing before you move on, Brian. You know, with the crime bill and everything that Joe helped to write it, and Kamala and the way she was. Listen, the streets were on fire back in those days.
Yes, they were.
The streets were
they were.
absolutely on fire. I was at Center Circle. I mean, it affected my family firsthand. So I saw it happen from 1982, 83 on through into the 90s. The streets were on fire. Grandmas couldn't go outside. We lost almost an entire generation. We're talking 25 years of the crack epidemic, of it being on the ground. I don't know what the statistics say, but of crack being on the ground and having an impact in our neighborhoods, it was 20 to 25 years. And that shapes a lot of who we are today. Yes. You know, we have a young generation today who think that street culture is Black culture because the lines have been crossed. You know what I mean? Black culture and street culture have always coexisted, but crack kind of erased the boundary. So now this generation thinks that this is how things are and how they're supposed to be. So we've got a lot of coming back to do. We've got a lot of fixing ourselves to do. But I think in the meantime, we've got to move forward when we have opportunities. And we know that Joe Biden, they were saying he was done. He was lost.
Yes.
He was running, I want to say, fourth. So I think it was Bernie and Buttigieg and the woman from Boston, I forget her name.
Elizabeth Warren.
Bernie was running. I mean, Biden was running fourth, and then he came to South Carolina, and that was it. It took off. It took off. They delivered him. So when there was a letter this week that were written by some brothers, I forget the name of the group, but they said to him, "Listen, you know, we believe you should pick a Black woman." And I kind of think he had to do it. You know what I mean? Because, Black folks and particularly Black women delivered this for him.
Yes.
And they will continue to deliver for him.
Right.
Going into the election. Just let's not get the crazy people who are the conspiracy theorists who keep posting these crazy things.
Mhm.
Right.
And that's kind of been that was really my burning issue today. Is it started yesterday, and then I see so many posts, and I've been unfriending some people because I'm like, you know what? And I don't unfriend people just because I disagree with them. It's when you have to make a point by being racist and misogynistic, then I don't have nothing else for you.
Yeah.
If your point can be made on the facts, if you say, Brian, I totally disagree with you, and factually, this is why, at the end of the day, we may agree to disagree, but I listen to your side, you listen to my side, and fundamentally, we just still may not be able to get on the same page. That's fine. But when you start attacking somebody because they're a woman, which, to make it plain, I wonder, since we all came from a woman, got a name from a woman, and I gained from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women?
Right.
A great philosopher said that.
Tupac.
But yeah, but he's right. Why are we so anti-woman? This is ridiculous. I have 2 daughters, and I want them to believe that they're as good as any man on the face of this earth. Exactly. And as long as they listen to me, that is what they're going to hear. But you get on these social media sites, which are very big for them. For a lot of people, Facebook is the world. And I've tried to tell my kids, no, the world is out there and Facebook is over here. They think Facebook, and they think it's like you said about the street and Black culture, but they think Facebook and the world is the same thing. They coexist. And I know how to separate that, but my fear is that we talk so much about Russia coming in and sowing discord and misinformation and everything. I'm more worried about ignorant Black folk.
Right.
And I'm not gonna sit there and say white folks not this and that. I ain't talking about white folks right now. I'm talking about us.
You're talking about the people.
That's why I only invited Black folk on today, so that we can sit there and figure this out, because I just don't understand. The guy posted some misinformation about Kamala Harris. It went into all this stuff that practically wasn't true. So he's pushing forward a fake agenda, something he probably saw, read it, and said, oh God, no. And then he posted, I'm not supporting her. And then other people up under it read that, and it got viewed. By the time I saw it last, it had over 600 views. So anybody else that is sitting on the fence thinking about, should I go vote? Should I not vote? A lot of times when you put that kind of stuff out there, you're doing the whole voter suppression. You worried about him shutting down the post office. Hell, you doing the same thing. You're making some people that were on the fence question, is my vote gonna matter? Why do it? They're all the same. She's no better than this person, and yada, yada, yada. And next thing you know, now you're disincentivizing people to vote. Your words matter. But we just go and we nitpick and tear each other down. We have that crab mentality that one can't make it without other ones trying to pull you back down in the bucket.
So the term Black Lives Matter is not just a term for America and for police. It's for all of us, because we've been affected too. You know what I mean? We've been affected by the same racism that, white folks have had. So we suffer from the same, we're going to talk about Malcolm X. We suffer from the same thing. So that's why the Black woman is looked at in those ways, or, because our lives don't matter, and certainly she doesn't matter. But one more thing is that this is going to it may open up some of our dirty laundry, right? Because we don't like to talk about certain things. And this rift that's always been there in our community between, within the diaspora of Black American, West Indian American, folks who are from Africa. We don't like to talk about it. At Latinos, that's there. It's real. And it's just under the surface. It's not deep under the surface. It's right there. So that might come out. It may or may not play into this, but certainly it's something we need to talk about and figure out.
But we also need to be uncomfortable. And I think too many people nowadays are just wanting to have the easy answer to just, oh, let's just make it, it's going to make everything okay. When I was having this discussion with my mom, who's 78 years old,
She gonna get
and
you.
I know,
You could have just
but she
said up
looks
there.
good for it. But she looks fabulous. She looks fabulous.
She gonna get you.
And that's fine. She can. When we were having this discussion, we were talking about when back in 2012, when I went to vote for Obama for president. I had to wait in a line to go and vote 2.5 hours, and I got there at 6:30 in the morning, and the line was around the block. But I waited, as uncomfortable, and the weather wasn't the greatest that day, but I waited, and I made sure that my vote counted. And everyone who says that, oh, I don't want to vote for her, or I don't want to vote for this person because he's not Bernie or whatever, you need to stop doing that, because you need to be uncomfortable. This president is demolishing our postal service, our democracy, our freedom, and he's trying to become a despot. So we need to be uncomfortable and stop looking for the easy answer, and to stop being a victim, because everybody's a victim and everybody wants to blame somebody else, but nobody wants to be able to be accountable.
Right.
And one of the things that I've been speaking to some of my friends about, we never thought that Trump was going to get in office. No one believed that would even happen. So we have to really be diligent about voting. We as Black people, we need to be very conscientious of what our community is saying. We need to, first of all, we're talking about Black Lives Matter, but if we can't get on the same accord, I mean, if we can't unify in some type of way, then we're going to be destroyed from within as a Black community. Yeah, Black Lives Matter, but what are we, the Black community, what are we doing to uplift our race? And what are we doing to make sure that we have representation? Kamala is representation in the White House.
Right.
So if we can't get on one accord, I mean, she has a stellar resume as far as qualification and knowing the law, and having served in so many powerful positions. She's qualified. That's why Biden chose her. You might not agree with everything that she's done in the past. No one's perfect. People change. You might not even agree with everything that Biden has done in the past. But you've got to weigh the options here. And if 4 years ago you were looking at that television and you thought, hey, this guy Trump is not going to win, nobody thought he was going to win.
Right.
And he's in office today.
That's right.
So if that doesn't make you afraid enough to go to the polls and vote for Biden and come out for that ticket, then I think you really need to do some self-analyzation. Like you really need to look at yourself in the mirror, like, what am I really doing? If I'm hating this bad because there is a Black woman on the ticket and I'm a Black person, then basically automatically you're voting for the Republican ticket.
I don't know why people don't link the two. I've always said that. I tell people that. I'm like, if you don't vote, you just voted for Trump. If you do a write-in vote or vote for a third party that has no chance of winning, you're voting for Trump. And people do not understand that. They're like, no, that it doesn't work that way. Well, you need to go back to civics class. I'm sure Miss Harris, ain't that right, Kawana, can help you out with some civics. And she can tell you that, no, that is true. That is how our electoral process works. I just don't get it. And I was telling Lori earlier, what really gets me and she knows this, my TV is always on MSNBC, ain't it, Lori?
Yes,
even if it's on mute or whatever, or I'm listening to the Young Turks or something like that. And I'm a political junkie, but it's because I need to be in tune with what's going on around me, just not every 4 years.
That's correct.
What we got to really start doing is being more in tune to what's going on in our city gov, state gov, and our federal level. We need to understand what's going on with all three branches of government. so that when these little fake ads on Facebook pop up, you already know it's bunk.
Right.
But if you ain't been paying attention for the last 3.5 years, and now you start seeing this stuff, and now 82 days left before the election, now you want to become a pundit. They don't work like that, Jack.
Right.
It don't work like that. You need to be aware. Now, you ain't got to watch it as much as I do, but you need to at least be aware of what's going on and follow stuff. Kamala Harris been around for a couple years now doing her thing in the Senate hearings and things like that. She is a name that when you say her name to Republican white old men, they start shaking.
Yeah.
Jeff Sessions told her one time, "You're asking me these questions and you're making me nervous." You know, the woman will put fear in you. I agree with you, Brad. When her and Mike Pence go head to head, that's going to be must-see TV.
It's not going to be pretty. I mean, she's an attorney, so she's trained in the field of back and forth and jousting. And Mike Pence tends to be a little slow in his delivery. He's not as quick. You know what I mean? He's a little slow. And I don't know if you'll be able to call Mother off stage.
No, not at all.
It's going to be
not at
interesting.
all.
But you
not
know what?
At all.
Kamala has paid her dues. This is not a, you know, the ticket is well balanced. You've got a male, you got a man and a woman. You've got East Coast, West Coast. You've got a black and a white. You've got a balanced ticket, and that doesn't happen very often. And you know, just talking about what happened 3 and 4 years ago, I still have a pit in my stomach about the way this whole thing went down, and just the thought that he could possibly re-enter. This country would be trouble. Like the streets from this past summer would be nothing compared to if this guy hustles and finagles it again. He can't win it on his own merit. He cannot.
But
and it's a shame.
And as much as you're right about that, he can't win it on his own merit, but he can win it if we celebrated Kamala being picked, and then we don't do anything else after that.
Right.
We can't celebrate a touchdown at the 10-yard line. We still got 10 more yards to go. We got to cross.
All the way through.
That's right.
We got to keep on going. So the biggest thing out of all this, y'all, is we just got to make sure that people understand your vote matters. We need you to do what you got to do. If it's absentee balloting, if it's mail-in balloting, Trump, it's the same damn thing. This is a fool. So whether it's that or whether you just sit there and do like me and Lori, you can walk across the street to the school over there, and hopefully it won't be a line like that. If there's early voting, do your early voting. Do what you got to do, but vote. It is that important. Please vote, because they're trying to discourage us from voting, and they're using us to do it. They're using the Candace Owenses of the world, which I don't even want to call her black, but
awful.
I feel like I got to take a shower when I said her name out loud. But they're using folks like that to infiltrate and be able to put out that disinformation and stuff. And all they want is somebody to be able to say, "See, they said it about themselves. We can say it too."
Right.
Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that mess. White people, don't say it. Don't say stuff just because you heard somebody else say it. Diamond and Silk do not represent us.
Oh, please, can we just start with that? Because I'm tired of seeing all of these propped black people in the spread out, where I know that they paid them $20 to sit in the auditorium where they're at. But I'm tired of seeing these people, and I also that are conspiracy theorists. I have a friend of mine, who posts these crazy things, like he's always on another conspiracy and always talking about Trump and always talking about this one. And I was like, he's one of these, he thinks he's really educated, but he's not. By street education, I'll put it that way. And I'm just sitting there every time I see it, and I'm just like, why are you spreading these lies? I was like, if you don't understand that having this man another 4 years, I was like, if you think that your EBT card is going to be in effect, let's just say that no, it will not, because he will make sure that everybody in this country goes hungry.
Right.
hungry.
Especially if you go around talking about I got an Obama phone, because he tried to get rid of anything with Obama name on it.
Exactly. And he's
If you got
trying
an
to take away
Obama
Affordable
phone,
Care Act.
You're right.
Trying to get rid of that. So we need, so all of these people and then all of the other individuals, the Bernie supporters, Alexandra, AOC, and they like, you all need to get together and let it go. Bernie wasn't gonna make it.
Right.
He wasn't gonna make it.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Stephanie Mills just actually she put out on her social media, she did a video. She called them paid slaves, and she spoke about a couple of prominent Black people that we know. Two of them in particular she addressed, and she called them paid slaves. And that's pretty much what they are, you know. Again, causing another rift in the Black community. And I think that's, I think white America sees the rift that we have already, that we can't seem to get on one page. So if they could create another rift, they're helping us destroy ourselves from within. So I just think that we need to recognize the game. We need to recognize the usury from white community to continue to keep Black America in this low place.
Right.
You know, I think that we did a better job, I believe, in the 60s of at least getting on one accord. You know, Malcolm's philosophy was a little bit different than Malcolm's, but we knew as Black people, everybody was that was Black was getting hosed down, lynched, beat, and we could at least, on that fact, we could at least get on one accord, because we were all getting mistreated.
Right.
We didn't, you know, some people, you know, marched with Malcolm and they believed his philosophy. Some people believed Malcolm, but it didn't matter. We all had one goal. We wanted to be treated equally. You know, we wanted equity. And now I think that in this new millennium, the racism can be a little bit more covert. We don't, you know, but now with the lynching of George Floyd and others that we're seeing, it's starting to just come outright, especially under this presidential administration. I think white America has become more emboldened, you know. So if we can't even rally around that, you know, that's what gets me when, Brian, you talk about how, you know, us as Black people, why are we, you know, causing discord in the community? Why can't we rally around Kamala Harris? We can't rally around just, you know, seeing what's being done to us. We've seen the protests, and we have, you know, had some white affiliates. But I think we need to do a better job of becoming more unified, just on matters such as this, of having representation in the White House.
Well,
you know what, and that's I'm so glad you said that. But 1 second, Brian. I think when you took it to the 60s and the 70s, and you talked about we were more unified, we were more in lockstep. Well, we had something we could see. There was something we wanted. I don't know what that ask is today. I don't know what our block is today. I don't know what we're going to go to Joe Biden and say, we need this delivered as a Black community, if you will. This is what we need. We've heard people say, oh, what did Barack Obama do for Black folks? And, you know, Barack Obama's my dude. So when you come after Barack, I take it personally. Like, what did we ask Barack for? I don't remember us saying, Barack, we need this, we need that. What is our ask? Let's get it together now, and we can pressure the White House and say, hey, look, we need this delivered, we need that delivered, but we have to figure out what it is we're looking for, what it is that we want that's going to make us feel empowered, feel better. No one is going to come in and swoop and make the Black community, you know, 100% better. It's just not going to happen. That's got to come from us. And as impossible as that seems, it's got to come from us. So what is our ask of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? And let's get them elected, first of all, and then let's see how they can deliver the goods.
That's right.
Hey, Brad, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Did you, I know that they've been talking about, I'm sorry, I've just cut over the host.
Uh-oh. Now that's a conspiracy right there. I don't know what happened.
Go on then. Head to head with Lori Parker. Go ahead. Let me cut from my own show.
Brad,
Go
I
ahead.
was asking a question about what are your thoughts, and Kawana as well, what are your thoughts about the discussion about reparations for Blacks, and that how they've now reinvigorated this debate. So in
Right.
talking about what do we ask for as Black Americans or African Americans, or for serving the Black community, what are your
Right.
what is everyone's thoughts about reparations,
You
and
know,
like,
Brian,
is that even a good ask or not?
Brian said earlier something about he's you know, progressive on some things and conservative on other things. You know, I think we're all like that. For me and reparations, you know what? Maybe it's just my personality. I don't want anybody's money. I don't want anything. I don't want you to give me anything. But I would, if we're going to talk about some sort of, you know, payback, or if you will, you know, maybe education, and by way of education, or by way of taxes or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't want anybody's check. I'm sorry. I can get up and go get my own check. That's what my mother and father taught me from sun up to sundown. You will work 4 jobs if you have to, but I don't want anybody's money. I get upset. Don't give me anything. I'm sorry. I don't want anything.
I'm kind of on the fence with that. On one end, I'm like you, Brad. I'll work for mine, you know, and that's what I've been taught to do. But on the other end, you see other people groups getting reparations for, say, the Holocaust, you know, and you see other groups getting reparations, and it makes you think about, like, well, what about us Native Americans, you know, getting breaks on certain things because of how they were treated. We're always forgotten, or we need to get over it, you know. But and so that part of it makes me feel a certain kind of way, like, wait, but we're not over it. And you know, when you see other people groups getting, and you know that this country was built on the backs of Black African slaves, and we don't get anything, then I start kind of, you know, considering, like, you know, there should be something put in place for you know, for the oppression that we've had to go through, because other people groups are getting, at least they're getting something. So we're watching this, and it does make you feel a certain kind of way. So you know, again, I'm like Brad, you know, the one hand I can get it and get my own, I can get up and work, but there needs to be some kind of acknowledgement of the oppression that we've had to go through in building this country. There would be no America without Black Africans who were made to build this country. We didn't ask to do this. We were made to do this. So something needs to be acknowledged for that.
It was the economic base for this country becoming so wealthy. Period.
And I agree.
No discussion.
I agree with both of you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I agree with the both of you. And I think, to Brad's point, hey, if you want to do some reparations, why can't you simply do this? Minority business loans. Make more loans available so we can start our own businesses. Give a better interest rate with them. Maybe because it's tied to the reparations. Student funds, so that students do not have to pay for junior colleges or community colleges, or apprenticeships and things like that. Let us be able to have those same opportunities, because I get tired of talking to white folks and they be like, but that happened all this time ago, to like what Kawana said. They were like, when is enough gonna be enough? Why can't y'all just get over it? Because when I still go into a place and a white counterpart goes into a place, we ain't looked at the same. Even if my resume looked better than his, we still ain't looked the same. So why not give us these opportunities We're just looking for the opportunities. Once I have the opportunity, it is up for me to excel or not excel. I'm not asking you to help me be successful. I'm just asking you to stop getting in my damn way. That's all I want you to do. Just don't get in my way. Make those opportunities available. You want to call it some kind of what they call the other thing that they always be doing for us, they say. Oh God, I just lost my train of thought.
Diversity?
No, not equal
affirmative
opportunity.
action. Affirmative action.
Thank you.
Right.
You want to call it some kind of affirmative action? I don't care. It needs to be some kind of affirmative action that is tied to the fact that African Americans, for the longest, have been held back because of policies and things like that. So we need to be able to have a better footing when it comes to education, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to small business, tax breaks and things like that. They've built everything off of our backs. Then if you aspire to go into the middle class, they still tax the middle class worse than they do the 1% and everything else. So you're still grinding and grinding and grinding. Give us more opportunities. Give us more opportunities. Do that.
Remember, the one of the biggest ways that wealth is passed down in this country is through property, home ownership, being able to own a home and build equity in it over time, passing it down from generation to generation.
Exactly.
We were not involved. We were held out of that process for so many years that, you know, we don't get the benefit of passing down wealth to other generations. So we're starting off at a net zero at the next generation. We're not starting off as in a plus. You know what I mean? And absolutely, and that's ridiculous. You're talking about, you know, the military in World War II, and my uncles and my uncles and my father, and they all were in the military, coming home, trying to take advantage of the VA loans. Wasn't there. It wasn't there when Long Island was being built and Levittown, and no, we couldn't get those opportunities. We had to stay in housing projects in the 5 boroughs of New York City. So yeah, we weren't allowed to build that wealth and pass it down to next generations.
Wow.
Right.
All right. We got to get ready to wrap up, but we'll go around. Everybody have last words before we get ready to head out. Lori.
Vote for the ticket. Biden and Harris 2021.
Okay.
Go out and vote.
Not only is she trying to be the host, but she's also going to be a campaign manager. Go right ahead. I'm starting to wonder if you're the Jamaican.
She clearly controls the switchboard. So,
well, speaking as someone who is American, but I have West Indian heritage in the background, so I guess so. And besides, I can work 3-4 jobs. I already know how to work. So, and besides, I'm just here to help you because I want us to grow together.
You already dug your grave when you started trying to be the host, but go ahead. Kawana, what you got?
Oh, the biggest thing I think for me is that, you know, as a Black community, we just need to be more unified in our stance. Right now, it's a pivotal time, you know, with the protests and Black Lives Matter. I think that we need to be more unified. Having Kamala Harris on the ticket is at least representation. I think that that we need to vote, period. Get out and vote. Vote on the side of competency. I think that is important. You need to read, you need to understand who you're voting for, you know, and if you don't vote, it's an automatic vote for Trump. And if you want another 4 years of that, then that's on you, you know. Yeah, so I'm definitely pushing for us as African-American people. We need to be a little bit more unified right now.
All right.
I agree with the young lady, Kawana. We need to get our act together in terms of national politics, but also on the local level. And I still believe that we are coming back. We're on the way back from having lost a generation. So I think there are gains. I think what we've seen recently with the police, especially over this summer, I think we've got a lot of talking to do. We've got a lot of talking to do with the white community, but we've got a lot of talking to do with ourselves, and who we are and where we are. And then that whole other discussion about the diaspora, I don't know when we're going to get to that, but that's a conversation we need to do at the same time, to talk about, because we're all here. We're not going anywhere. We're all here. We're going to have to figure it out, and make room for each other, period.
There you go. And finally, I'll just close by saying, thank you to my guests today, Lori, Kwana, Brad. I appreciate y'all taking your time, sharing your thoughts. I feel a little bit better. Maybe this was my therapy too, because sometimes you get on social media and it just kind of seems, I expect to see certain things from certain people, but I really want our people for once to really start supporting each other. We ask you guys to, hey, support our channel, support this business and things like that, is because, it sometimes feels like it's easier to get other people that don't look like us to support us than even having our own sit there and have our back. Nobody's perfect. Our politicians aren't going to be perfect. I'm 46 years old just recently, and there's no way in the world that 46-year-old Brian is anything like the 32-year-old Brian. And that's a good thing. That's because I've evolved, I've learned, I've grown. That's what we all aspire to do. That's what life is about. We're not going to be the same person we were. Our past should not necessarily dictate who I am today. Who I am today dictates who I am today. Whatever Kamala Harris did in the past, if she has evolved, that's fine. If she hasn't, hold her accountable. People should hold me accountable for who I am today. Yes, you can go back and look at my past, but look at that person, look at the one you see in front of you, and look at the difference. So if you've been absent from politics for the last 3.5 years, and now the last 2 days you think you got a thumb on things, then I'm going to suggest that you read, you research before you start posting stuff, because you could really inadvertently be disincentivizing people to vote. And in this election, more than any other election, we got to get out and vote. I don't care if Corona is out there. I don't care if influenza out there. I don't care if my ex-wives are out there. Are the worst. I'm still going to show up and vote. And you need to show up and vote too. That's all the time I got. Y'all, again, thank you to my guests.
Thank you, Brian.
Y'all have a good evening. Y'all stay safe out there. God bless you.